Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Alchemy with Shiana Lee. And I am sitting here today in deep reverence and complete elation because I am joined by the beautiful Ginger today. She is over at Mythic Feminine, and she is somebody I hold really close to my heart. We've only met once in real life over in America when we were at Hannah's wedding in Sedona, but we have actually connected for quite a few years now in the Instagram field. I think we both connected through the feminine embodiment space and we were very magnetized to each other. Ginger really is fierce and powerful, but there's this soft power and knowing within her that I find is very rare in a woman, anchored in faith, embodied, and not afraid to say the thing. And my power recognizes her power in a big way. She is a big powerhouse of a woman, and she reminds me of like the nymph, fae, delicious, frolicking play energy. And that is what I love about her. We are both manifestors, so be prepared for this to trail off into many different threads. And we are actually not going to label it typical manifestor style. We are sitting with the flavor and the bigness of what wants to move through us in this very moment in time. So I would love for you to welcome Ginger onto the podcast. And Ginger, I would love for you to really invite yourself in and share what is alive for you, what your calling is in this big life, and anything that feels relevant right now.
So good. What a welcome. Thank you. I am honestly just pinging off of woo, exactly. Like that's the energy that I get in your field. So that's not me. That's definitely like our dynamic. I feel like for anyone listening, there's just so much like earth erotic energy that comes alive between you and me. And that was totally evident when we were in person in Sedona as well. It was just like the most natural thing to play by the fire and be ridiculous. I love
Yes,
that. So
yes.
that's a little bit of like how I'm feeling, where I'm coming into this with. I don't know if we can even like button up my calling, but one of the things that I'm deeply of service to in this lifetime is like the greening of this so-called wasteland that we live in. Like we
Mm,
look around and there's just like, oh my God, so much is wrong with the world. I think there's a lot of focus on that and like a lot of revelation around that currently. A lot of like peeling back the curtain and like seeing the man behind the curtain in various regards. And I'm here for that. And also there's like a deep call for nourishment, like a deep call for how can we water and regreen the women of the well? How can we actually like make sure that the women are nourished? Because honestly, we nourish the rest, right? So that's like a deep thread of service. And then of course with that is some deep reverence for the masculine and for men specifically. So I'm sure we'll weave all of that together in due time today.
oh my
So
God, yes, we will. And I love that we both joined and we both were wearing green today. And that's exactly what happened at the wedding too. We both showed up in this luscious green energy of the heart. And honestly, it was such a blessing to watch you just frolic around in the fields. I was like, my heart was just singing absolutely in like, yes, yes,
yeah,
yes. Frolic with the phase. Do you?
totally. Yeah. Well, I mean, as you know, and hopefully you'll have her on the podcast as well. But Emmy Preston was
Yes.
a fellow co-conspirator in that regard. She's a beautiful movement artist, and like truly, it says. I think she has this on her profile. It's like glory to God through her movement. And I find that, as a dancer, right? Like I dance Brazilian Zouk. It's a very sensual partner dance. And, I think if someone's not from Brazil, or they're not like, in the know with their own body, their own connection to their like innocence of sensuality, they'll see it and they'll be like, oh my God, how can that be holy? Or how can that be, okay? It's so sensual. How can you do that with whatever, however many men I've danced with in my lifetime? I don't know. Right. But it is like so true what Emmy has on her sort of like online curated presence. It's like all glory to God, body, temple, arts. So anyway,
Yeah.
I feel that deeply. And I know, you resonate with that as well.
Absolutely. I love her. I absolutely
Yeah.
like us in the
She's so
trio
special.
was just
Oh my
so
God.
beautiful. And it was, like you said, earth, feminine, water, like nourishment.
Yeah.
We even spoke about hunger before we dived into this podcast. And I love that because, and like you said, there's a lot of people focusing on what is disintegrating and crumbling or actually being sucked down and in, I would say, and
Mhm.
being resurrected into a new energy. And truly, so many people are focused on that. And I love, and this is most of the people I feel very connected to. And I feel like it's a web of God, truly, of us women that are nourishing the field and attending to the web and the energy that is coming through. And that is what we're focusing on. That's what we're anchoring. How do we want to be satiated, filled up, nourished, moved with reverence and honor for earth and our body and this new way, right? Because if we're so focused on this like fallen template or this falling template of what's bad and what's wrong and just filled with distortion, we will never ever create these new seeds of life that we're actually here to do, which I
Right.
love about you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, deeply, deeply felt. Yeah, let's go there. Let's
Yeah.
climb in a little bit more, if you
Okay.
don't mind.
We'd
Okay.
we're gonna descend into that little thread.
Just a little, like a nice green thread, right? Like it's like a vine. Like we're not going too deep
Let's
too
follow the vine.
fast. We're following the vine. This is going to be a very organic, crunchy podcast.
I love a crunchy podcast. Yes,
So
take
good.
me down that vine, baby.
It's so good. I mean, look,
Mm,
I really feel like it's not even that we're doing something new. I think the reality is like if we're actually in touch with the body and the seasonality of life and the cycles, like we just crossed in your hemisphere the winter solstice, in my hemisphere the summer solstice. It's like this is not some woo-woo thing that we're like making up and like bringing back from the past and like dressing it up in some like weird Instagram friendly priestess way. It's like literally the energy of the earth has an ebb and flow to it. And are we as mammals in alignment with that? Or are we just like boring through it and trying to just do whatever we think mentally is the right thing to do, which is so different from just actually being in the body and saying, hey, you're in winter. You may be in a very different place bodily than I am at the apex of solar energy where I am. It's like I don't expect you to be in my energy, you know? Like it's okay that you're in the
mhm.
middle of winter. And obviously you and I have a lot of energy regardless. So there's that. But you know what I mean? Just permission of the seasonality of life. Like, please.
Yeah,
So just yeah, a bit of like a grounding drop in. Like it's not new. It's not new age. It's literally like we're mammals. We live on Earth. The Earth has seasons. So do we. Let's align with that, not fight it.
yeah,
Okay?
yeah. Yeah.
You
And I
know?
think that that is what we have gotten, I wouldn't say wrong, but that's the lens that kind of filters through everything. Like we're very disconnected in society, how we live, even our community aspect, living in these houses, not on the land, going to the grocery store, not buying and eating food that's in alignment with our season and our climate. And it really is fucking up our system to remain true to what is true, right?
Mhm.
And so we think it's so left field and so spiritual and woo woo to be eating seasonal fruits and off
Oh
the
my
land
god.
and seasonal, seasonal, even
Produce.
beasts, animals like that are
Right.
closest to us. Like this all, and
No,
this
I
goes
have
into
to
our ancestry
yeah, exactly. Go for it.
as well. Hold that please and weave that in that it taps into our biology, our DNA, our ancestry, where we came from our roots. And it's not, we used to do this so naturally when we were living in alignment with the earth, and we're just out of alignment of that now. And we don't need to focus on the whys because
Mhm.
we know why. We're
Mhm.
not silly. We can go into the threads of how it is happening and why, but it truly is about return to what is organic and natural. And that looks vastly different for each body,
Right.
each climate,
Right.
each space. And what I find very interesting is we actually follow, they're trying to box us in and label us into one space. So I talk about this a lot, how Australia is very out of alignment with our summer and winter solstice because we celebrate Christmas when it should be,
Of
the
course.
we're upside down, we're topsy
Right.
turvy.
Mm,
And I feel like that is a huge part of the disconnect in Australian culture. Like,
mm,
and I'm not talking about traditional Australians, like
of
the
course.
ones as ancient as time,
Mhm,
the time, the oldest civilization on Earth, basically, at this moment in time.
mm,
And so I just find it really interesting. And that
mhm,
is truth. That's not fluff. That's not woo. That's not spirituality.
right. Yes.
Back to
So,
the
like,
thread that you're holding on to.
no, to continue that, it's like I wanna just, like, ground it in my, literal landscape. I mean, I am very fortunate to live 10 minutes from a farm that I am a member of, and so when you said this piece around eating the beasts that are where where they grew up, I literally went and I bought my steak from the land that's 10 minutes from me, and I saw the rest of the cows, and I kid you not, maybe this will sound weird, especially if people are vegan, I apologize, but I also don't. I literally drive past those cows and I'm like, I love you guys. I'm so happy. You're so happy eating this grass. And also, I'm really excited to eat you one day. I literally said that out loud. I'm like, you guys look so happy and I'm really excited to eat you. I know that's weird, but that's what I said out loud in my car driving past my farm. I'm okay with that because I actually revere the whole cycle. And my dad was a hunter, so he kind of got me on that train very young. So just like actually
Mhm.
dealing with the blood and the guts and the animals themselves versus this like sanitized, like disconnected plastic wrapped version of mammals. So I'm very
Yes.
grateful to him for that. But anyway, yes.
That's beautiful. And
Yeah.
and, I find that in Australia, we have a lot of land, like, just
You
down
have
the road,
land.
you kn
Yeah.
we have land and, my ex-husband, his father had land and they were butchers and it's such a different energy field when you're in reverence and honor to these animals, like you're a custodian, you're stewarding the land, you're connecting with them, and in turn, I truly believe that this is the cycle that is so fundamentally fractured that
Yes.
keeps women fractured with self and their body
Mm,
also. Like there is this
mm,
element of like, I truly believe you cannot be connected to your Eros and your aliveness if you are not connected to the earth. And it's so simple.
great.
This like little
Yeah.
cycle, little huge micro macro cycle that
Yeah.
we are in. Like this is core. This is vital remembrance, I believe, as
Yeah.
women.
I agree. And
Mm.
honestly, I don't know how your listeners generally relate to this whole like be in connection with the earth thing, but I find that there's the marketed version of that, like the shiny, dressed up, like this is what it should look like version, right? For people's social media or whatever, versus like, no, you can actually just go barefoot on the grass and like talk to a tree and or not talk to the tree and just like gaze unto said tree and like feel something. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to involve a photo shoot. You don't have to put on like crazy makeup. Like you can also just literally connect with whatever is around you. And it's okay if you're in a city too. I mean, that's not my preference personally, but like there's bits of Gaia literally everywhere. You cannot escape her. She is your home. She's underneath you at all times. So it doesn't have to be complicated, you know?
No. And it's energy, right? Energy is what we're anchored into. So even like you said, even
Exactly.
if
Yeah.
you're not opening your voice and being like, "Oh, hello tree." Like, "Hello, hello birds." Like full Cinderella vibes, like opening up
Uh-huh.
the windows and singing to the birds. But I mean, yes, if you're whimsical bitches like us, that would be definitely be part of it. But also, and this is the thing that I find that a lot of people miss too. It is like the present moment energy that is anchored in the body that interconnects you with all things. It is not specifically about what you're doing or, "Oh, I'm gonna take this little earpiece out
Yeah.
because it keeps falling out of my ear. Must be a smaller ear hole over there." But there is there is this energy of being, like, tapped in, anchored in to, like, body, womb, cervix, heart,
Mhm.
and this channel of connection, and it's a sensational experience and intentional space that you can only get to when you're present and when you're feeling the sensation of your woman, right? Like of your body. And technically, it's so simple and so easy. It is. the remembering the call to come and return to that over and over again. And that is, a completely different energy than just talking to a tree. It is a
Yes.
felt energy like biofield that you're actually creating and
Right.
magnetizing. And that is what we're here for as humans, right? To
I
feel
believe that.
like,
Yeah, I deeply believe
mhm.
that. And to connect to the field, to your point, right? To like actually open up your system and be sourced and resourced by the field as well. Now this is getting a bit woo-woo, so I apologize. But also it's like it's very real. We can feel beyond us. We're mammals, right? Birds can feel beyond them as well. And it's just a thing. This is not like it's actually not that woo woo. And I'm always, you'll notice, like I always try to reground into like, no, this is like reality, guys. This is not like fluffy, fluffy. We can be in the mystical and the magical, and there is always an anchor point in the earth. Like it's very real, it's tangible, it's felt, it's in the body, it's in the womb, it's in the cervix. And yeah, if you open up your back body, are you going to be able to feel more? Probably. Like there's like real beyond felt. It's like the animal, the mammalian instinct, I think, is such a portal to actually come back to sensation and to like calibrate our capacity to receive life through mammalian instinct. That's what I love. It's just, I'm sure you if you want to riff on that, go for it. She's like
I
eating it
I
up.
am so here for it. I'm just like hand on heart, like, oh yeah, you're hitting the points. Like this primal mammalian, like I speak about this all the time because I'm
Perfect.
so passionate about it. Like I really am. I talk about like, and it's tribal community based, and that's how we are meant to be. Like, and I always often say that, squatting on the earth and picking berries with women is
Oh,
sometimes
yeah.
the most healing, spiritual, but also wild, primal aspect that we have long forgotten. And it's like you said, it's not pretty pictures and robes and I'm a priestess and I'm like hell, like me and you, I think we're totally wild priestess type women and it doesn't look like that in the
No.
modern day.
No,
It-
not typically. Every once in a while, you and I will enjoy a lovely photo shoot. Like, let's not be, shy about it because, there's a lot of energy there. But the point is, I would be willing to just bet, my net worth that the vast majority of your communion moments with the beyond, with the divine, with the father mother aspects of God are very private and they're very simple and they're quiet. They're like it's like the innermost chamber of your heart that is in that communion. It's not about what it looks like on the outside at all. Like nothing about it.
no, no, no. And I love that you share this. No, no.
She's like, no,
Because
no, no.
I actually, and I feel like this could be another vine that we'll probably move through actually. My relationship to the divine, to creator energy, to mother, father,
Yeah.
God, whatever it is that you like to call it, is so deeply private to me. It is such a deep, like, I don't share anything about my personal relationships, like my intimate relationships, you'll, if you're lucky, you'll get snippets of like raising women up in my field that I absolutely love and adore. But apart from that, mostly my most romantic, intimate, deep, I hold them with such reverence and honor and like personal sacredness that I get a little shy. Like, even like
Mm,
coming into prayer and sharing that with another person, like, I jump in prayer with the people that come on as a guest here, and that feels very like vulnerable for me. I'm like, I'm letting you into this deeply sacred, intimate relationship where usually like I would be alone, like naked on the floor, like rolling around, feeling it through my body. Or it's not even or in the shower, like
yeah.
just talking to water. It's mundane and sacred at the same time, but what I want to highlight is it's sacred to me and intimate to me. And I don't share that freely with everybody.
No.
Right. Because we're in an era where distortion is real and people and energy is real. We can't really lie that. And like, we can't hide it. And it is a protection
Hmm.
mechanism for me too. But also it's something
Understood.
that can't be like described. And also like I don't use that as what would you say, like a smoke screen for my
Yeah.
life and how
Right.
deeply aligned I am, and how I don't love that flavor and texture of
Right.
relationship with God or relationship with, a man or whoever. Like,
Right.
it's
Yeah, as a
interesting because it has been used.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like correct me if I'm wrong and not tracking the thing that you're saying, but it's like you're not willing to use your relationship to anything, anyone to like hook people or compensate for like maybe a lack of depth or it's like you're not going to put that out there out front and like pimp out your relationship with God just to like draw, do you know what I mean? Like, right, it's just not, that's just not what it's about for you, and it would like tarnish or sully or like yeah, dilute, honestly, and I feel your
Yeah.
reverence for that, and I that's part of the reason why I respect you, like truly. So
Yeah.
yeah, I hope the
And I
ladies
don't
are
think
taking
that we
notes.
have. I also feel like, yeah, it has been used a lot for comparison too, which I don't want to play
Mhm.
into in
Right.
our field as
Yeah.
women. I don't want, and spiritual, like the spirituality, polarity, relationship space, God space, Christianity space. Like, I don't want all the spaces, actually, all the systems,
All the boxes.
all the boxes, burn them down.
Yeah.
I don't want to play into that comparative
Mm.
competition aspect, right? Because I don't feel
Right.
like I am so convicted in myself and what I know to be true and sacred that I don't need to show it, right? It
Exactly.
is deeply felt.
Yes.
Like my yeah, it's not like I'm not holier than, I'm not more sacred than, like I'm just a messy, flawed human working it out. I talk about this all the time. And it's like, there's this element of when we get into those and use them, it's like there is this comparison. Like, I actually don't give a fuck what anyone thinks about me. I swear a lot. I do unhinged shit sometimes. I'm a bit chaotic sometimes. And I
Really? No. Wait,
claim that all.
what? You have a chaotic big system? Like, hold the phone. I don't know if I can do this podcast anymore. Like, there's just too much chaotic feminine energy. Oh no. I'm so afraid.
Oh my God, no. You're not afraid of the depth or the
Nah.
fire. You got this. But it is like this. And that's the thing. Like, sometimes the loudest noise and the loudest voices or facades are usually the ones that are scared of truth. Right? Like, I don't actually have to defend myself. I don't actually have to defend what I know to be true. And I also don't have to showcase it to prove anything. If people want to judge me or put me into different boxes or misunderstand me, I am willing for them to do that. And it's not mine to take on.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, and they will
Yeah.
misunderstand us. I mean, that's an inevitable part. It's like a beautiful initiation, isn't it? So that I know you and I have both like walked through the fires of being deeply misunderstood, most likely vilified, most likely, there's just there's going to be that happening whenever there's a little fire energy involved. And that's not because you or I came to the table to burn anything down in like a violent and or malintended way. It's just there is misunderstanding. There's a lot of deep fear around the like capital F feminine, right? There's just fear. There's a lot of uncontained energy there. And it's like if I'm with the sensation of the pulse in my womb right now, it's like, well, can I control that? No, I can't. Like it has a life of its own. So it's like, of course, we're going to have some misunderstanding happen because it's not
Yeah.
possible to fully describe the thing. She's too changeable. She's too mutable. So are we okay with that, or are we going to try and like exile her, like put her in a little box, or like bury her in the earth, or like put her in a one book of the Bible? Yeah, it's just like a natural part. I think you and I probably share this. It's like because we've worked with women over so many years, like at some point you just start to see the same patterns over and over and over, and you're like, okay, cool. So that
Yeah.
person is on that type part of the journey, and this person is like over here in their punisher phase where they're just like punishing the feminine in them, or this woman is like vilifying me for being very outspoken, but like it's like they're just normal parts of the journey. And I think that you and I both have a lot of grace, like embodied grace now, where maybe we didn't, 4 or 5 years ago. And
Yeah.
it was like maybe more high sensation to just even receive some of that type of energy. Whereas now it's just like, hey, okay, like you're clearly having your experience. That's nice for you.
I
I'm going
know.
to be over here, you know?
Yeah. And I wonder if that's like, I want to ask a question actually in this space too, because I find, and I don't know if it's because of our manifestor energy, but your energy feels very potent and similar to mine. Like I don't know, manifestors can recognize each other. I don't know
Yeah.
what it is.
It's funny,
There
right?
is this abrasive sort of energy,
Hmm.
but it's like it pulls you in, but for a lot of people, it can be repulsive. Like it can't I
Hmm.
don't like repulsive, but,
It can be repellent, like to kick them out.
repellent, that's the
Yeah.
word. That's the
Yeah.
one. Now, I'm curious because I can feel this energy within you, like,
Yeah.
and I wonder if you do get a lot of sort of projections and a
Hmm.
lot of, like, people finding you intimidating.
Hmm.
And what you do with that, or do you feel like,
Hmm.
no, like I get magnetized the right people and the
Mm.
others sort of fall away?
You know, I want to like climb in a side window because I feel,
Side window, a
you know,
side
just like,
quest.
yeah, side quest, side window. We're just gonna crack it open. The thing is, like, once I learned that like the partial reality of manifestor nature, if we're subscribed to human design, which is a great lens, it's a helpful lens just
Just a
to like
lens,
understand
yeah.
it's a lens, you know, it can be super helpful. For me, what was helpful around that was actually just permissioning that process that I will for sure repel like half the population. And then the other half is going to be like, oh shit, like she's on something. She's holding a thread. She's tracking a thread. She's speaking through that defined throat that we all have, right? As manifestors. It's like she's naming something that I can't quite put words to it. And like maybe it does catalyze some uncomfortable sensation in my body, but I'm here for that. And I think embracing that has been very helpful, particularly because it also lets me keep my field really clean because I'm just super clear. Like, hey, I posted to my stories last week. This is like funny that the meat thing is coming up again. Or, yeah, it was like last week. I just posted, I love steak. Shiana, you know me. Like, I will cook a steak
I love
any day of
steak
the week.
too.
We're steak girlies, steak
We're
women.
steak
And
girlies.
it's
Sorry.
like,
Sorry, not sorry.
a good bloody steak is so nourishing to my yin, to my blood, like to my tissues. I need that. I need that protein. So, what I make sure that people in my field know is what they can expect. They're going to see a meat eater. They're going to see a woman who cares about like female nature. So, I don't subscribe to, while I totally support identity in the fluid sense in the embodied way, I'm just going to be with female nature. So, I don't usually serve people who are in various like explorations of identity that might take them away from their biology. But I also don't care what people label themselves. So it's like as long as you're with, the cyclical nature of your biology, then I'm here for you. So I'm just super clear now with like who I can and can't serve and why. And then if they're repelled by that clarity, that's a different story because then it just tells me, oh, okay, they kind of have a problem with a woman being super clear and like boundary, if we want to say it that way, versus like if I were wishy-washy, it would be worse. If I, as a manifestor, am wishy-washy about what I'm available for, people get so confused and they get angry. I don't know if you've noticed that. People get like pissed off, like more so than I think is usual. It's like a funny mirror
Yes.
to see from the field. I don't know. Have you had that experience?
Yes, yes, people get very activated by me.
Yeah.
Very, and it'll be like, and it'll be, I think, small, but it
Right.
actually is
It's
rage and
huge for
anger.
them.
And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, what
Yeah.
is going on? I'm in the
Yeah.
tumble dryer here. What's happening? But I wanted to reflect. I wanted to reflect back to you because this is something I see very, very clearly with you. And I really want to, is like your absolute conviction in self and not willing to abandon that,
Hmm.
whether it is about your beliefs, what you're here for. And even though that might change moment to moment because we are the feminine and that's the way we are, there is this anchored in self that is abrasive to other people, right? Because
Right.
as we
Can
are
be.
huge
Can be.
mirrors,
Yeah.
but I feel that so strongly with you. And I love that
Yeah.
about you. And
Hmm.
it's
Thank
very
you.
inspirational being like, this is what I'm about. This is who I serve and this is what I do. And it's not a rigid
No.
energy either. It is quite like, and this moment I feel this, and in this moment, but it's also not fundamentally wish-washy either, like all
Oh,
over the
no.
place. There is some core things, and it's really rooted in your body and felt. And I think that when you feel, again, this, I'm going to bring it back to the somatic body and the
When you
sensations and the
feel
feelings. When you feel this in your body, right? So, not when it's a thought process, not when it's like, I believe this, which I believe can be very
mental. It's very
erratically.
mental. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, or
Yeah. And
rigid.
like, I find them, yeah, upper body, neck up energy can be very erratic and very like staticky.
Yeah, static.
But
That's exactly it. It's like yeah, totally.
yes. And when you are actually feeling and in the body and somatically like know your worth, your power, your magnitude, and not from I'm talking about a flesh and bone type of
Yeah.
embodiment,
Mhm.
which a lot of people do not have in. And you can feel that with other people, like this right down into like the marrow of their bones. And it's like this worthiness and knowing and conviction and power reclamation, and that is just unwilling to be tugged at or
Yeah.
less likely to be tugged at and
Yeah.
pulled out of that system or that sort of channel per se, which I
Yeah.
love.
That's it. That's exactly it. Yeah, no, it's like there are still things that can tug on me for sure. I'm not a bodhisattva. I'm sure we're on the same page about that.
Absolutely.
So, like, no illusions. I'm not perfect, obviously, but, like, there are genuinely places where it's very, very challenging to knock me off center because I'm okay with other people having a contrasting experience. I know that that doesn't invalidate, like, the philosophy or the principles that I live my life by. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like I'm just fiddling with my power because 'cause I'm realizing I need to make sure my laptop lasts for the rest of our conversation.
Right.
We'll be okay. But no, genuinely, it's like it's great, and I'm not actually even a person to say, "Oh, it's my truth versus your truth." I don't use that language. It's my experience. And then there is truth, the frequency. There's truth, the energetic. It's like truth that stands no matter what I think or feel about it. But there is my subjective experience, which could of course be different from yours. And that's totally wonderful. You feel free, please have a different experience and then tell me about it so I can learn something. You know what I mean? It's
Yes.
like it's not that hard. So, yeah.
It really isn't. Oh my god, I'm really enjoying this. And
Great.
I'm having so much fun. I don't know if you guys are, but we are. So,
We usually do.
um I would love I would love to bring this flavor in. I don't even know if it's on the same line. I don't know if I'm catapulting over to another tree or what's
Let's do
going
it.
on, but
Yeah.
I want to talk about it because one thing I also love about you and talking about opposite experiences,
Yeah.
you have such a delicious calling and reverence for the masculine, right? And we spoke about your dad at the start, and
Yeah.
I know how deeply you cherish him and honor him and respect him. Totally different experience to me, which we spoke
Right.
about before we jumped
Right.
on. I don't even know who my father is. I do know who he is. Never
Sure.
spoken to him before.
Yeah.
And, I've had a very fractured relationship with men and the masculine like my whole life. And so, which is interesting because I've had to do a lot of work to get to a space of deep reverence and honor. And like, for this, it's been
Mhm.
tough out here, let me tell you. But I'd love to bring that in because you are one of the few people that I actually would listen to about
Yeah.
masculine
Oh, yeah.
feminine dynamics,
Totally.
talking to them. Shit, like, and I would love to just bring that in a little bit because the
Beautiful.
way you articulate it is chef's kiss
Mm.
every time.
Thank you. Yeah, and isn't it great? Like, this is it's a perfect segue. It's like your experience is totally different from mine, and yet we can learn things from each other. And I believe, I'm sure you're similar on a soul level. It's like, I do believe that we choose certain elements of how we come into these corporeal forms and the family constellations or lack thereof that we might choose, like
Yes.
there's
Yes.
I do want to bring in that theological or like spiritual thread in the background just because it deeply informs how I experience trials and tribulations with men, to be honest.
Ugh.
Like I just I don't I was just talking about this with a gentleman earlier today. It's like there are things that have happened factual things that have happened to me, like, being cheated on, for example, that are negative, not good experiences. Or, I have most of my friends, I'm sure most of your friends as well, they have had factual experiences of being victims to not just betrayal, but violation and so on and so forth. So it's like the reality of the factual things that have happened does not translate into like my concept of being a victim when it comes to my relationship or my context. The relational context with men is fundamentally like, oh, they're my counterpart. Like I can build stuff with them. Men take care of me. They're so loving towards me. Like my foundational context with men, even though a bunch of shit has happened, like
Yeah.
in general, like the factual things have happened, but my context remains the same. And I do credit that to my dad, rest in peace, because the imprint from him was so loving and so like firm, very like kind of classic patriarch in ways that were deeply uncomfortable for my young, girlhood that like wanted to do all these things and was like, no, honey, that's not good for you. And I was like, but I wanna, so there was like, I was speaking about this earlier, it's like there's this reality check that I got to encounter in physical flesh and bone form where I got to push up against the bounds of reality of where I wanted to go over to the right 5 steps. And my dad would say, no, honey, like that's not going to be good for you. And so, whatever age that was happening at, it was a somatic imprint of a man can tell me no and still love me. A man can tell
Mm.
me that something is not good for me, not because he's controlling me, but because he deeply cares about my well being. Like I got that imprint in my body as a young girl. And I just can't even
Wow.
express how I just have to transmit how meaningful that is, because I want other women to have that access point because they can encounter it through romance. They can encounter it through beloveds or beloved family members potentially as well, depending on the system.
Mm.
So I just have to like start there because like we all have some sort of fractured template with some man. Like we've all had something happen. And this
Yeah.
is not to step over any of that. It's really not. But it's just to
Yeah.
acknowledge that the context that we live inside of is yes, fundamentally like imprinted by that original relationship with father, like flesh and bone father, but it's not the only relationship that we have with a man. Like it's like we have so many opportunities. Life serves us all of these opportunities, one after the other, after the other, after the other, to reconcile, to repair, to like learn and grow. And I feel very, very passionate about supporting women with that because I just know how nourishing it is to be in loving connection with a strong, deeply rooted man. And I want that for every woman. I want it. Like, please have it.
Take it all.
Take it
Take it
all,
all. And I have to agree that relationships are the deepest work we'll ever do
always.
in
Yeah.
our lives, and our intimate relationships are catalysts for transformation. Like I always feel it so. And, I've been navigating quite a intense, unhealthy, toxic dynamic recently. And, I really feel a lot of people, and I am zooming out and seeing how much we love to sit in victimhood, right? Like we
Mm.
love to sit in victim.
Ooh.
And, oh,
Because it's so
and
easy and
how
everybody
it's
validates you
easy.
there. Mhm.
My God. And it's so true, but it
Yeah.
keeps us stuck in that. Like
Yeah.
it keeps us stuck looping, right? Some of the greatest work and healing I've done is with my ex-husband, Steve, as you know.
Mm.
Like 13 years of delicious, strong, like healthy, like he restored a lot of how I
Mm.
related to men. And that was like a big mission in this life, let me tell you, from all the abuse that I got and went through, which, and even still coming out of this other sort of dynamic, this relational dynamic I've had with someone very close to me, I'm really seeing it's amplified in my field how much we do collapse in relationship and collapse into like the victim
Yes.
savior sort of complex. And it's interesting when you zoom out and you actually start to come into like embodied awareness and radical like self reclamation, how much even the unhealthy dynamics are a strong catalyst for your growth and for reclaiming parts of yourself instead of sitting in that victim of like, this person was the villain and poor me and flopping over into that, which we're seeing hugely in the relationship space at the moment with like, and the narcissism template being very heavily activated the last couple of years because of the, systems at place and their narcissistic template. But it's
Right.
quite interesting to see that now and to see how we're actually perpetuating the same thing by staying in the same cycle and not using it for fuel and reclaiming parts and aspects of ourself that we're ignited in relationship with the other person.
Yes.
And that is where we then can breathe ourselves back home in a more powerful way. Like, and
Yeah, of course.
it
Yeah.
actually, it's like banging my head up against the wall because I'm really passionate. I'm really passionate about relationships being the work
Yeah.
and spiritually human side, like every aspect of self is worked in a relationship
Yeah.
with that mirror that you can't get in any other aspect in
You
your
really
life.
can't. You really can't. Oh my God. It's a deeply uncomfortable experience.
It is.
But
It's
also like
it's not.
deeply loving, like yeah, it's thank you. Thank you for bringing that piece in because I feel like I know there is a titration process for every woman that has its unique pacing. It's very unique timing. So like for sure we can't let anyone outside of us dictate the pacing and the timing. That will be up to us. And it's also a soul choice. There will be these gates that we have to pass through. And when I say have to, I mean it's it's between us and God. No one can choose to walk through that very uncomfortable sensation for us and choose vulnerability or choose to lay aside a layer of our own heart armor or to listen to a man, even if he has something that is like seemingly critical because how we're used to tone sounding from women, but he's a man and he's saying it different. It's like there are these little gates and also big gates, obviously, that there's no one that can walk through that gate but us. It does not matter how much you and I talk on podcasts about it. It doesn't matter how many like years of mentorship someone's received. It's ultimately an internal soul coming into the body moment. And that is sometimes very scary to like actually stay with yourself when every other time all of your identities are screaming just like get out, or like fight, fight, it's like it's very scary stuff. I'm not going to beat around the bush. It's fucking scary,
It
but it's the
is.
work. It's the work to your point. So, and by the way, before we go on, I am noticing I do have to plug my computer in. So I'm going to go get my charger. We're going to just like pause for
Wicked.
a hot second.
Pause. I might talk while you
But
pause.
you want to pause or you want to talk? Okay,
No,
she's going to
no,
talk.
you keep
Yeah, yeah,
talking. I'll keep talking. You go get your charger.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I really wanted to just while Ginger's going to charge her laptop so she can stay with us, really highlight how important it is that it is a choice point. It is absolutely a choice point whether you crack yourself up and open to moving through these portals. And I talk about this all the time too. Like, you actually have the choice and nobody else can make that choice for you, like Ginger said, which I love. And it's not a delicious, sensational, like love and light, like gestation in the body. Sometimes it is rough. Sometimes it is like a ocean tumbling you around. And this is why I talk about this all the time on this podcast. It is a beautiful experience to actually move through this sensationally, but sometimes it is like hellfire. Ginger is back. Have we got you? Beautiful.
Nearly back. Keep going.
Keep going.
One
Okay,
moment,
perfect.
please.
She's just listening in to like
I
my
was
little
just nodding.
snippets.
I couldn't help it.
So yeah, this is the work that people you have to be willing to step up into, which all of my guests share the same gnosis and the same embodied wisdom. Are you going to step up and into that next gate, that next level, that layer within the self? And also, are you going to let it like stretch you, dilate you, throw you around a bit sometimes? Or are you going to move with it? And this is like the biggest thing that I see often. It's like you have to be willing to. Like there is
Yes.
no other way to put it. I was just telling everyone, hi, are you back?
I'm back. Yeah, we're here. So sorry about
Perfect.
that. It's like turns
That's
out when you
fine.
do 2 podcasts in a day, the laptop can't handle it.
The laptop's gone. That's all right. I've got you and it'll work fine. It's no
We're
drama at
here.
all. But I was just saying about this process and the gates and like you said, it's sensational experience. It's not all like love and light and delicious and pouring your heart
No,
open.
no.
Sometimes it can throw you around and thrash you around. And one of the key pieces is like you have to be willing to do that, and you have to be
Yes.
willing to be moved by these experiences. And
Yes.
that is a key piece of this work, this work in relationship and this
Mm.
work in life, being moved by life, letting yourself hunger and desire and yearn, calling that in and then letting yourself be moved by that and willing to step up into it wherever that may take you.
I
That is
totally,
it.
totally feel that. And it's a consent. It's like this is my view, any soul initiation that's like a true soul initiation requires our consent. Like life is not going to, when we take it as an initiation to literally expand our capacity, we have to consent to that because that is a death process first, which I know you are super down with death. And she's like, I'm down
So
with death.
down for death, down for death and grief. That is like the core
Yes.
piece that women are missing.
Yes.
Grief work is
Yeah.
love work and
Yeah.
death work is life work. And you can't tell me otherwise.
You're so on it. You're so deeply on this thread. And thank you for, the grief work has been a consistent theme that comes in and out of my life because of working with this heartbreak around losing my earthly form of my dad. And yet, like, that has also, like, of course, that then breathes new life into how I'm able to support women because when someone dies that's close to us, it's like what we get to keep from them is like almost the purest form of the imprint that they did leave. It's like we're not just remembering the shitty stuff about someone. If anything, it's like it's almost, and I have to check myself on this often, it's like almost a little bit too idealized of how great that
Yeah.
person was, right? So it's like I can
Romanticism.
bring, a little bit of romanticizing,
That
exactly. And
little
it's like, yeah, which is so natural, but the point is like grief work is life work, and as you said, death work is life work. And I think that if there's anything, death work, identity death is required on the path of union. Like I don't care how romanticizing people are about like union this, union that. You're gonna die. You're gonna die lots of times, and it's gonna suck. Like I want to be so clear, not for the faint of heart. You have to like actually be willing, to your point, to go on that ride. If you are not willing, then you're going to have a nice normie relationship. And, honestly, I know, I know. She's like, I judge. I know. But
normal.
I
It's
know it's
not for
very
me.
repulsive for you. But that is a
But
valid life choice, right? We can both agree. It's a valid life choice.
100%.
It's just not for us.
Sorry.
No, you're good. We're on the same page. You don't have to apologize to me.
I cannot. I cannot. And
I
it's
know.
my system is a full repulsion to that.
Yeah, I hear that.
And every time I try to have that life and go that path and have a normie relationship, or I get smacked in the fucking face. I get tumble dried and they're like, nope, 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 nope.
Yeah,
So I
no.
just want it. Sometimes it
Oh,
is a
no, that's
choice, but
so good.
sometimes it is not a choice as well.
It's not.
Also,
No.
even though I'm like, it's a willing choice, but it's also like sometimes our core has specific things that it is here
Yes.
to anchor and do.
Yes. Yes.
And we
Right.
can't say no to it.
No. We can try, and then we get kicked in the face. We can
I
try
get
to
kicked
say
in the
no. And then life will be like, actually, though, like you're still of service. You have to be. Like, good luck. You can't actually escape this one. You signed up for it a long time ago. Nice try.
right.
I mean, we've both
It's
been
making
there.
me emotional.
Aw. Yeah. No, I feel that. It's real.
I love that you brought this piece in too, because we do see a lot of the grief work, babe, around your father. And like working with women, you would also see how much grief women are actually still holding,
Yeah.
and in their bodies, and in their field of, like, even futures and lives that they've
Mm,
envisioned, or tapped into in the unseen realm, and they haven't been able to anchor, not being fertile or not being able to anchor children, having miscarriages, actual birth in and of itself, and the way that we've turned to birthing in the hospitalization world, like,
yeah.
and all of these points, like, I think grief is one of the underlying pieces with union, relationships, love, relationship with the masculine and beyond, that women are not willing to descend into out of fear, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
And I feel like if they are to work with grief, feel grief, and we do grief so wrong, so wrong in this day and age. Like, we
Mhm.
should be grieving with women, like, alongside, like, howling in our community, and being witnessed and seen in that state and space is it becomes a transpersonal collective experience, which
Yeah.
we've also been severed from.
Yeah.
But I think it's one of the underlying causes of, yeah, that slight hesitancy and, like, heart armor and body armor
Absolutely.
around life, around men, around relationships. It's huge, babe.
Huge. Yeah, because the question is like, am I safe to feel here? Am I safe to feel anywhere? Is it okay for me to feel? Am I allowed to feel? I can't actually feel. Okay, so is it okay for me to be numb? Is that allowed too? For me to be numb? Is that okay? Right? It's like there's just so much that is not permissioned, to your point about like we just do grief wrong. We do. I totally agree with you. It sucks. And I actually like my 2 cents on it is I wish, could I have gone back and done things differently? Like, I wish that there could have been much more time actually between the day that my father died and the day that we had his funeral because I was out of body at his funeral. It was like,
Yeah.
even though it was 10 or 10 days, 2 weeks later, by normal standards, that could be like a long time for my body. I mean, I spoke at his funeral and I remember, like, one thing that I said, like, I wasn't fucking there. Their experience was, like, my body, the pace of my actual body needed way more time before I could actually say something in an integrated way to put my father in the ground and actually put my grief in there with him. I was not ready to
Yeah.
do that. Like, it was a real miss that I, of course, like, didn't know until afterwards, right? So it's wild. But to your point, it's like anything hospitalized, anything that's like on a timeline that is linear and scheduled. It's like, why? That's not how it works. Like, give it the
Yeah.
40 days, Seriously.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. And even our complete, like, sanitization of death, right? Like, we spoke about this. Oh, it's coming in a full circle. I love this moment when everything just falls into place. The packaged meat, the wrapped in plastic, like, this severance and sanitization of death and blood and flesh, even death. Like, what came to my mind when you were sharing that is, when somebody passes, in today's society, in the Western society, what happens? They are removed, they are taken from us, and we are not around. We have a complete severance of death and being, and allowing us to be with it and feel it and be moved by it. In some cultures, they sit with the body of their past loved
totally.
one for like a week, sometimes more, right? Surrounded by their community, loved ones. And I want to say this carefully. It's not about, like, moving it through faster and transmuting it faster. It's just meeting it deeper, which then allows it to move organically without it getting stuck. Right. So it's like this death is happening. You're going to be severed from it, and they're going to, be in a funeral and buried, and you're going to have, and that's it. So you have to process it a lot more clunkily in the
Mhm.
system, and it comes in like waves and moments and pockets, whereas you're like sitting with it, with death, with grief, like in that moment, like the body is there, you're with the flesh, you're with the pain and the ache on a much deeper level, and like you said, seen in it, witnessed in it, felt in it. it actually allows a lot more cleaner, I wouldn't say cleaner, but a lot more
Smooth. Like,
yeah.
smooth, fluid, like, it's actually allowed to move, the energy can move.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Mm,
it's sad. Like, it's actually really sad because there is such a lack of reverence and honor,
exactly,
and
yeah.
we can only love so much because we grieve because we love so much, right?
Exactly.
And if we cut ourselves off from living, from loving, from tasting, from, you know, bringing it in, like, both ends of the spectrum suffer.
Right. Yeah, you can't just close your heart because you're grieving and then lock it down and expect other love to come in and bang down that door and open it back up. Like, that also has to be a open from within, like consensual opening from within. Like, we are responsible for our opening from within. That's a very uniquely timed process that I would never want to rush a woman in, of course, you know. But yeah, thank you for bringing that piece in. It's deeply, deeply resonant with my own experience. And I would have also, given an arm and a leg to just like have more time with that as well. Just like with my
Yeah.
dad's body in the hospital room, like just being, you know, not rushed at all about that. And like, it's just so strange. I don't know how it is in Australia, but it's like if someone, I think in the States, if someone dies in the home, as soon as their body is like collected, which even the language is like, oh my God, it like becomes the property of the state. Like you actually,
Yep.
it's like it's really fucked up. It's really fucked up. So yeah, I'm no expert in death doula realms, but there's a lot of energetic tracking that is very resonant for my body, and I would be, yeah, it would just be remiss to not talk about it as much as we talk about life, as much as we talk about, all of these beautiful union topics that are so shiny, It's like great, but also like what happens inside of you when you lose someone that you love, or when you lose, you know, uh, yeah, when you lose a person you love, or when your relationship goes through an identity death and you like don't have that technical relationship anymore. You've like totally changed into
Oh,
something that's new, but you're still with the same person, but it's not the same person because they died
yes.
and you died, So,
Why is this not talked about more?
right.
You know, like, I love that you brought that in here because to be with somebody is to die a thousand deaths. You know, you are vastly changing constantly, and ego deaths are brutal, and dark nights of the soul are brutal, and they're unavoidable
They're
in
unavoidable. Yes. Yeah.
union type relationships.
Yeah.
Yes, if you want surface level coexisting. Nothing burns my soul more than coexisting.
She's like, get it away from me. I can't even talk about it.
I could not coexist. I've tried and it doesn't work for
Yeah.
me, but
Mm,
each to their own. I wish, and trust me, I've prayed that that would be for me, but it's not, alas.
please.
Alas.
No.
But getting to the deeper textures and the deeper sort of some parts of self that are required, you are displayed on the altar, and it's brutal, and we don't talk about that enough in relationships, like you said,
No.
because there's this shiny union field that's being
Right.
projected out, or this shiny polarity field that's like harmony and union. Union is not harmony, motherfuckers. I don't know where you're getting that from.
Like, there will
Yes
be
and no.
moments, like, there should hopefully be some harmony as, like, a background tone, but, like, in terms of, the I think, our dear mutual friend Hannah literally just wrote a post on this. It's like when you are
Did she?
selecting, she did today. She literally, because she and I had talked about it, like, at the wedding weekend when we were all together, and she said, or maybe it was, it might have actually been when she and I met up a couple weeks later in Nashville, which we are trying to link up with you. Anyway, she
When I
said this
left.
thing. I know you left. And I was like, it's so sad, tragic. But
Devastating.
when we
I
choose a
might be coming
mate,
back soon. Shh, don't tell.
you
I might be
literally
coming back
saying
soon,
it
but
on a
what to
podcast. What do you mean? Don't tell her. Are you going to cut this out?
no, I never cut anything out, but anyway, side note.
Okay.
Keep
No, no,
going,
no. So
sorry.
I want to like drop some Hannah knowledge in here. Okay. So like Hannah
God.
gnosis. And I so agree with this. It's like when you choose a mate, you choose your mirror. You are choosing a mirror for life. So like the coexistence thing, if you want to do that, then you're going to choose a person who has very smudged mirror. Like they actually are not going to reflect very much to you at all. You're not going to be
Ooh,
forced to learn, grow, be catalyzed, die, and be born newly. But if you are choosing a mate for more of this like generative, always ongoingly evolving with life type thing, you got to choose a very clear fucking mirror where they are cleaning it themselves constantly. It's not your job to clean their mirror. This is my addition now to like Hannah's teaching, but it's not your job to clean their mirror. You just have to select the the clear mirror for you, and vice versa. You know, because to your point, yeah, coexistence is like, I mean, I guess you could do it, but it's just, yeah, it gets old. It gets old and very boring very quickly. Yeah.
For deep, feeling sensitive, like intense, I would say
No.
women, like whatever you want to call, like there is a certain flavor of woman that hungers insatiably. So, like the well is deep.
The well is deep.
And the well is deep, and that it does work, and it can work for a lot of people. They are
Sure.
satiated with that. But
Yeah.
for a woman, how do I say it? For a woman that satiates a lot and
Mm.
has this deep existential hunger, that I don't think that will ever fly.
No, no, no. Unfortunately, fortunately, right? Like pros and cons, there's always trade-offs. There's
Pros and cons. We
always,
love a little
always
pros and cons.
trade-offs.
I know, because when you're met with that, like, my God, it's can be brutal, yes. But I mean, when you're really at this, like, is it brutal? I mean, are we just like sensationally hungry? Like
It's a
I
very
love
good
the
point. It's a very good point. Yeah.
I am a very sensationally hungry woman,
Yeah.
and all textures and flavors. Like, and I love this, and I love that it's like a walking permission slip for women to want what they want and
Mm.
to desire what they want and not feel shame around that, because we do have a lot of shame as women, or especially being intense or big, or
Yeah.
I I love a sensation.
Yeah.
I love a sensation. Call it what you will. And I don't put these sensations in like, this is bad. This
Exactly.
is good.
Yeah.
This is just, and this kind of loops back to everything we were sharing before about, like, energy is energy. What you decide to do with it and how you decide to run it through your system, again, a choice. And also, it is fuel. Like the sensational stretch in my body that I receive from my own ego death or relating to another human and feeling like, I love that sensation in my body. Like,
Mm.
I, and my hands are in quotes right now if you can't see me, quote unquote, like bad experiences, good experiences. My layer and lens has really shifted in that over the last couple of years of, this
Mm.
is an experience. This is the sensation it produced. Okay, how am I going to use this energy?
Mm.
How am I going to be moved by this?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I got fucked up in my last relationship, like relating like brutally, sensationally. And the absolute deliciousness that has come out of that over the last like
Yes.
month
Yeah.
has been like phenomenal. Like
Mm.
I'm really in conviction with my people, like what I'm in service to, and it feels good. Not because I flopped in victim. I was like, okay, cool. This sensation has been a lot. It has been super activating. What am I going to do with it? Right?
Yeah. What I
Yeah.
hear in that is like you ride the dragon. You don't care much for slaying said dragon. You're like, I will ride this dragon. I'm gonna ride it actually.
Dragon. That sounds
Yeah,
great.
I know you would. Of course you would. Yeah, I mean, look, Shiana, you have a massive system. Like, I think, I would even say, like, you probably have, just my experience of you is you probably have more permission for even higher sensations than I do. Like, I think your system in that way is far bigger than like my kind of like cozy comfort range of, and I have a decent range. I'm not going to like knock on myself here, but I really feel what feels so true in how you speak about it is you hunger for that sensation. And that is like, that's very real. And that's a really intense place to stand for prolonged periods of time. And you're going to get so much from life. Like, yay. You know, but it's a match for your energy, is the point. Like, you would be so, like, not that you can't experience peace. Obviously, you and I both know manifestor signature in ourselves is peace, right? But, right? Big but. It's not stagnant peace. It's not white picket fence peace. It's not quiet because we're avoiding or ignoring things peace. It's like, no, it's because we said the thing that was there to say. It's because we actually allowed the thing to alchemize. And in the sort of like denouement of alchemy, there is a peace. There is
Mm,
this like settling sensation of like I did it. Like I walked through that gate and I'm on the other side. So it's like a different kind of peace. And I feel that deeply in you, and it feels really good.
yum.
So, yum.
You've
Yeah,
just
just
shared that
yum.
so beautifully.
Thank you.
But I yum. But I also love that it's like delicious. I love that it's like I think the wisdom truly is about allowing women to have permission to want what they want, to yearn for what they yearn for, and to hunger and desire and allow themselves to be cracked open by that without putting it in a like pressure cooker, right? Like, because that's the way I feel my system. If I put a lid on it, try and suffocate it with white
Mm-mm.
picket fences or whatever, I explode.
Of
And this
course.
is where we see we see the energetics of like feminine rage and like grief that's like spewed out all over the place and all of like and especially if you're in relationship, this is where you will spew that out to. First and foremost is you will become like a fire breathing dragon. Literally spit it out all over your partner because they are your most intimate mirror and they are the most activating. And then that can become a not a problem, but it can be
It can be very
volatile,
destructive. It can be
destructive
very, very
quality.
destructive. Totally.
Yeah.
And it's like, obviously, you and I both know there is a time and a place for like something rightful to rightfully die, something to rightfully die. There's a time and a place for
Mm,
that. But I think where this is just my read on like the distinction or the contrast between our two systems is like there's a lot there. My control patterns, like I have a lot more like control tendencies in my system versus my mom has a system that's much more similar to yours. So it's like I know that system well, but in my upbringing, instead of having a bunch of stuff with my dad, I had a lot of stuff where I had to guard against my mom's volatility. And so that's where like the body can be like, oh, but that chaos is actually harmful sometimes, you know?
yeah.
And it's also rightful sometimes. And so it's like my own process has been more about like actually coming into relationship with the beauty and the rightfulness of chaos, like of the raw non-linearity of life and like a woman, you know, and not having that sense of like she has to stop that otherwise I'm not okay, right? So that is cleared out of my system now, but I think a lot of women are like the ones who are actually colluding in keeping women in boxes. It's not really the men so much anymore. I don't know if you've noticed that, but it's like the men are like, all right, she's just going to do her thing. Like most men are actually fine. Like they're actually obviously there are exceptions depending on where we are in the world, but by and large, for the Western world, men are just like, do your thing. Like, do your thing. It's all good. It's actually women now who are like policing other women. I'm like, ladies, this is like not going to work out very well for us. We got to stop doing that. That's not good.
No,
You
and
know?
like I feel that. I feel that greatly
Yeah.
about women like taking up space, if you will, or not fitting like drawing outside the lines and not fitting into boxes.
Right.
And how much it's interesting actually when you zoom out and look at it because it's like it is actually the severance from like their own feminine nature, which
Exactly.
they want to box them to
Exactly.
keep them in control per se, or to keep their relationship with that woman in a known state. Like it's fear
Yes.
of the unknown and moment to moment movement, which can
Yes.
look chaotic. If you don't know how
Yes.
to dance, bringing in your little
Yes.
Zumba deliciousness, sensuality flavor here.
There's no Zumba. It's not Zumba. Oh my
Zumba, so
God.
zook, zook. Did I say Zumba? Zook, zook, zook. How do you
It's
say
your
that
so
in like
Zook, literally Zook. You're
zook,
good. Yeah,
zook?
it's so easy.
So did I say it wrong like 5 times before I
Yeah,
got it
but it
right?
was so cute. So, like, I'm with the nonlinearity of your language process with the word Zook. Like, I have
Zook.
nothing about it. You're so
Oh my
cute.
god,
I
I
love
love
it.
it. I actually wanted to try that while I was over there and I didn't get a chance. But yes, so if you know how to dance like moment to moment, and this is
Right.
like but there's this severance of their own like
Yes.
feminine nature and their own elementals
Yes.
where they're so petrified, and I see it as like a petrified or scared lens. Whereas
Mhm.
if this person doesn't fit into this box, then
Mhm.
who am I? Then
Eh,
how do I relate to this person or this element of self?
mhm.
Right? And it's fear. And it's strong at the moment because I feel like there is like there's a re-establishing of power that's happening at the moment in all fields and spaces. If you know the earth, monetary systems, everything is kind of in a discombobulated state, right? And I feel that there is this energetic, like, sort of rise of matriarchy. And I talk about this a little bit. It's not like patriarchy over matriarchy, but there's like
No.
this discombobulated experience where we're learning to like bring into union, right? Like this is the core place that we're moving into. And that being said, I feel like this is heightened because women are learning
Yes.
how to relate and be with one another again after being in competitive states. And like, how do we do that and move through that? And so it's like, it's all over the place and it's intense to watch at the moment.
Totally. Yeah, and I like to get in there with women on, what we might call the sisterhood wound in that way because I have like from this lens the lived experience of tussling with, my own body and then my mother's energetic system where like so distinct but then such overlap and she being such a mirror in the past for me of where I was not in approval of my like what do we want to call that? Like kind of chaotic creative genius which she has in spades, like spades, but where, I think the comparison piece comes in is unfortunately the vast majority of the world still venerates or like pedestalizes a much more like buttoned up version of women and
Mm.
does not fully value the raw primordial chaos element that is actually responsible for like basically all progress. Like I don't know if we have seen any entrepreneurs lately who have maybe built like crazy businesses that have changed the world. They're outliers. That chaotic primal raw energy is an outlier type energy. It's not to be boxed in. If we don't have reverence for that, we don't have reverence for creation. And I think that's pretty fucked up when that's literally where we came from. That's why we're here. That's why anything gets built. So, like, what are we doing knocking on that energy? It's silly. It's actually anti life. Just saying. I'm just saying.
I'm just like, yes, 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 yes. I knew I was going to have so much fun today. I don't even feel like I'm on a podcast. I just feel like I'm
No,
catching up with you and just like really just
just
getting
having a
into
chat.
a
Wait,
passionate
what? We're having
flavor.
is it a squiz? Is that the word that you taught us?
Squiz is having a look. A
Oh, shit.
squawk is a
A
talk.
squawk.
A squawk. I'm having
We're
a little
just
bit of a
having a
squawk.
squawk.
A squawk.
I'm so
I love the
sorry.
way
I
you
messed
say it.
up my one Australian slang word. I
Oh my
apologize.
God. Well, Hannah loved squiz. She's like, I'm
She
taking
loved
that.
it.
That's ours now. She's like, squiz, squiz. Let's have a squiz. And she was like
Yeah.
flicking it around.
So
So like,
cute.
so like, yeah. She's even like when she voice notes me, she still says squiz. It's hilarious.
That's precious.
Wow, wow, wow. I feel like we have traversed so much in this space. We have talked about death, grief, masculine relationships, sisterhood wounding. Like we have traversed, we've gone in a side window, down a vine. And I'm curious if there's anything else that you feel really called to touch on, to share,
Hmm.
to really like anchor in before we didn't even get into our ancestry or our roots of like
Goodness.
this just
I
I could talk to you
mean,
forever. Let's be
I
real.
know. I feel like the ancestors are in the room with us. Like we could talk about them or we could just be like, they live in us and through our amazing hair. Like the fact that you and I share so much DNA is like just pretty wild and how beautiful.
Loving seeing us side by side right now. It's really cute. Even
It's
wore our
great.
hair in a similar way.
I
Like
know.
what?
It's like
We
we should
couldn't even
join
plan that.
Riverdance or something. Like,
Oh
like a
my God.
Scottish Riverdance.
We would be sensational. I would get a
Mhm.
lot of joy out of that.
I would have much delight and it would be a very bouncy experience for all of our body, all of our bodies.
God
Yeah.
bless. Okay, okay.
Bless.
Bless, bless.
I
On the
hope people
land,
are
river
enjoying
dancing.
this. Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely. Um,
Lord.
yeah, so
Yeah.
back to that question. I'm sorry. Let's
Back
go.
to the
Let's
question. No, it's
yeah.
real. I feel fairly complete. I would just say like there might be women coming in from your audience, from my audience. And like, of course, because you and I have very different energetic signatures, yes, as manifestors, we're going to have like slightly different like ranges of women who have just listened to us speak for an hour and a half. And I would just
Yes.
say, like, if women listening are experiencing any shreds of self questioning, self doubt, self judgment, again, just noticing that like tendency to compare of, oh, these women are like this and I'm like that, and therefore make a value judgment around that. Just like drop it. We don't actually need to like do anything about the experience that you just had. Just let it into your body. Let the energy work you. Obviously, there's a lot of energy in the background of this call and this recording. And so just let it actually impact your body. Go in nature. Go back to the very beginning of this podcast. Like, it doesn't have to be complicated. If there was something that was ungrounding and feels too much for you, get your feet on the grass. If it was like perfectly a match for your massive system, just like dance, like be with that, like let the movement of the energy work you. And I feel like just the permission of meeting sensation as it actually runs through our body is like such a key. It's such an unlock, you know? So I think that's really it. It's just a total permission slip. Take this in, receive it as you wish, drink some water, have a good time in your life. Don't be so serious. It's like, like that it's just we love you. You are very loved. Come and work with
Yeah.
us if you want to work with us like deeper on any of these topics. But like we're here, the hearts are open, the bosoms are overflowing. So that's it.
Yes. Breasts are full, baby. Come to
Yes.
mama. I'm excited.
I love you.
I love you too. This has been so beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I just want, before we go, I will obviously have all the notes on how you can connect with Ginger, how you can reach out to her, how you can work with her. She is a light in my world. Honestly, I'm so honored that I got to meet you and we've been
Yeah.
connecting, and
So
this
good.
felt so easeful and pleasure filled and fun and lively and juicy and really satiated like my full feminine spectrum. So
Mm,
thank you for offering your voice and your wisdom. And I am so in awe of what you do for the world. You make a big
thank you.
impact. It's very inspirational. And I just love it. So keep doing you. Thank you so much for lending your energy and time here today. Appreciate it.
Such a pleasure. Yeah. Feel it in my womb. Thank you so much. Love you. Obviously support you. And I'd be happy to come back anytime. So thank you.
Beautiful.
Really. Genuinely.
I'm sure you will be requested. Trust me.
Mwah. Excellent.
Mwah. Good. See you next time. Bye.